Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening from nice rainy Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. On today's edition 4 of the Stiletto Foodie Show with me, Ethel Da Costa, we are live from Malaysia, and I have India also joining me today, as you've already seen in the show introduction. The lines are clear. We have great, strong network. Both my guests are very excited to be here with me live on the Stiletto Foodie Show and share our food stories. So wherever that you are, hopefully at home or on your cell phone or your laptop, grab a cup of tea, a glass of chilled beer, some wine, or a soju or a kombucha. I'm also doing a kombucha today, and join in the entire conversation that is about to take place today. I've had a very eventful and a very extremely busy week. Being invited at dinners. I had this huge, my first time experience with Bangladeshi cuisine, and I completely loved it. And my host was very happy. My hostess was very happy because I ate everything that was there on her table. I've also been cake binging, like I said in one of my posts on the page, and feeling like Marie Antoinette because I think Malaysia spoils you for food choices, and I've never eaten as much of cake in my entire life as I do in Malaysia, and I have to consciously stop myself, from the binges, trying to make sure that there is no cake at home or in my fridge, because the urge just happens, and you just kind of grab a spoon or a fork, and there I am digging into it. So I should be counting my blessings, and I'm so happy that Malaysia is a land of abundance, and I'm right in the middle of it all, either sharing it on the table, as a guest, or being part of fabulous stories with the chefs and the home entrepreneurs and the talent that I meet on a day-to-day basis in Malaysia. So great stories to share. I'm very thankful to all the buzz that is happening on my Facebook page, which is a Stiletto Foodie page as well, with foodies from different parts of the world joining in. I'm so grateful for that, and getting your friends to also join in. Yeah, food for world peace, as I say. I think that is the only reality of our life, where people can actually sit across the table of all color, caste, creed, irrespective, and have happy discussions. And I sometimes wish, and I'm also quite an idealistic myself, that all the world leaders join at the table and discuss how we can make our world a better place. Malaysia also goes to elections on November 19th to choose its leaders too. I pray that Malaysia also gets the leadership it deserves. And on that note, I have both my guests, Alan Mark from Malaysia and SOURISH Bhattacharya from Delhi, with me backstage to join in today's edition of the Stiletto Foodie Show. And if you have your cup of tea, some cup of tea, I did my kombucha before that. Let's just get on to patching in SOURISH live, because this gentleman is a very busy man. So, live from India, Delhi, SOURISH.
Hi,
Hi.
hi. I'm never busy for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful, and I'm really thankful, Sorish, for that, because
Thank you.
it's how they say, right?
It's, it's,
It makes
it's,
me
it's a
feel,
privilege. It's a privilege to see you after such a long time,
yes,
and good to see you in Malaysia. And I hope the elections on November 19th, bring good news to Malaysia and
yes.
Malaysians. We all hope and pray for that.
Yes, that's correct. Because I've been talking to the locals as well, just to get a sense of the pulse, to have your finger on the pulse. to what the country's aspirations are from the citizens' perspective. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping that, Malaysia, her people, because they're such lovely people, get
Right.
what they truly deserve, and
That's right.
yes. So, how have you been? The last time I met you was at the Tasting India Symposium, and
Yes.
2 years back,
That's
right?
right. About 2 years back, it was 2 years back, and you were there. Like you've always been a big support to Tasting India Symposium. Unfortunately, Tasting India Symposium got hit by COVID, and
Yes,
because it was a physical event, and there were all sorts of restrictions, and there were lockdowns, and just when we were planning last year, we were planning to revive the Tasting India Symposium. The Omicron wave took place, and there was another lockdown. So, I mean, it wasn't a lockdown, but it was just like there were a lot of
yes.
restrictions on gatherings, so we could not do it then. Hopefully, we'll revive it soon. So one day, we never give up
Yeah.
hope.
Because like I was telling you, I think there is such lovely and super talented Malaysian kind of like I mentioned chefs and things that way, dying to do India Swedish. And
In fact, there have been some. We have had great Malaysian chefs come and work here, and they have done some fantastic work here. They've introduced, they of course most of them are known because of the way they present Chinese cuisine.
that's right.
In fact, some of our better known Chinese chefs are from Malaysia or Singapore, but thanks to them, we also got introduced to Nonya cuisine, which is
Yeah. Yes.
again talk about castes and creeds coming together on the dining table. Nonya cuisine is an example of that. So we have been very fortunate to have some very fine Malaysian chefs come here.
Yes. And now that I've been here for the last 2.5 years, I tell you, and you know that, right?
Uh,
Food
no,
journalism
no wonder
is
I was missing you. I was wondering what happened to Goa. So
what happened to Goa. So Goa says we have donated Ethel Da Costa to Malaysia.
right.
Yeah. And as I was saying, having lived, now that I'm here for the last 2.5 years, the food experiences in Malaysia have kind of completely opened, me up as well, as an individual from a very deep level of appreciating cuisines. Or my palate has become super super sensitive to flavors, and like you said, there's food from Sabah, Sarawak, Penang, Ipoh, Malacca. I tell you, Sorish, it is mind-boggling.
Right.
It's mind-boggling because all these flavors from Indonesia, correct, and the Portuguese, because of the influences also,
Yeah.
have beautifully assimilated into cuisine, including Indian cuisine.
Right, right.
Yeah,
In
including
fact, the Malaysian table is like a global table, and I mean, as I discovered, on my visits to Kuala Lumpur and Penang, there's so much variety. There's Dutch, Portuguese,
yes,
Indian, Chinese, and of course the local Malay.
the
The
nasi
dish.
lemak.
Yeah, the nasi lemak, of course, is is a global celebrity among food
Yes,
items. So I think there's a lot. I think we have to discover and learn about Malaysia, and it's
yes.
good that you're acting as a bridge between Malaysia and the rest of the world.
Yeah, I think that is my intention actually, like in a very sincere manner, to kind of
And like in Tasting India Symposium, as you realized, we did four editions of that. We our whole idea was to introduce the world to Indian cuisine, and also to make people in India open up to the world. So it was a two-way dialogue on the cuisine and food choices, as well
yes,
as issues related to food systems and food sustainability, issues that concern the planet. So
correct.
yes, I guess we are all on the same page.
Yes, yeah, we are. because from the point of view of even food wastage, it's quite huge in Malaysia too.
Right.
And I kind of, in whichever way that I can, through other supporters and other friends, in powers of position, in positions of power, have also been trying to kind of see how they can, put together a distribution system, like with organizations like Food Aid, so that there's less wastage of food and it can be shared with the less
Mm.
privileged or those
Right.
who don't have access,
Right.
to food. It's also awesome that finally, the Michelin Guide comes to Malaysia as well,
Wow. Okay,
and
that's very
yeah,
good. When is that happening?
that's happening now this December. This
Oh
December,
wow.
the first guide comes out,
Right.
and the F&B industry is so happy. Sorry, you must see the
Yeah.
you know the enthusiastic enthusiasm. You know, yeah,
So
really.
tell me, Ethel, what have been some of the discoveries you've made in Kuala Lumpur and elsewhere in Malaysia? Have you come across some interesting chefs, restaurants?
I have met fabulous chefs. I continue to meet fabulous chefs.
Right.
The Stiletto Foodie platform also offers me that platform
Mm.
to connect chefs with chefs, Sorish,
Right.
because I realized that they hardly meet each other.
Right.
Some of them,
Right.
yeah, some of them don't even know each other,
Right.
beyond their
Right.
little circles, correct?
Mm.
So
Mm.
that this is the intention, is to physically you kind of do the introductions or
Right.
online do the introductions. And I realized that when we are storytellers, you and I are storytellers, it is
Right.
awesome, to
Right.
understand their perspective as well,
Right.
their own beginnings. Some of them are very humble beginnings,
Right.
and how they've risen to
Right.
stardom, so to say, and then you are there to witness that as well. I think
Right.
I'm very fortunate to
Right.
be working, with them as well.
Right.
Like I mentioned to you, one of my very strong mentors is Chef James Wan,
Right.
and he's a Krug ambassador, and to be working with him, I mean, that's like it's like the A plus plus. It
Right.
doesn't get better than that, and
Right.
then yeah, and then to have me, working with him, I think these are blessings. I believe these are blessings, you know
Fantastic.
yeah, to
Fantastic.
be yeah to
Yeah.
be kind of playing these conversations. So I want to know
Yeah.
from you,
Right.
you've been as a journalist, in different avatars for the last 30-35 years. I would like to hear and share with our audiences your most memorable food related memories, Swarish. I'm sure you have some of them.
I don't know where to start. I've always, I think, I've had great memories of, I've traveled around the world, but
Yes.
talking about Kuala Lumpur, I went there at the time of Ramzan, and
Ah.
that was some years back, and I had such fantastic Ramzan food, like the devout, we, of course, I used to eat through the day, and I used to feel, being a guest there. But at 6 o'clock or 6:30, there used to be this big dinner. I mean,
Mm.
the what we call in India we call it iftari. I mean, the
I
iftar
think it's,
dinner.
it's like it's some
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
concept of the open house, I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but so we have had I had the privilege of doing that on the streets, near the big mosque in Kuala Lumpur. I forget the name, but and I also had the opportunity of doing it in restaurants and hotels on
Hmm.
different days. But from all kinds of the rotis and the various curries, and it was a fantastic experience, a cultural experience for me,
Yes.
and you were talking about cakes, again, my, I mean, I least expected, we sort of assume in India that the Eastern Asia or the Southeast Asia, they don't have much to offer in terms of desserts.
Yes.
But I was amazed at the cake making skills of Malaysians,
I see.
and
I have to share here. I have a big one, a blueberry cheesecake, which is just lying on my
wow.
table for through the day.
So I discovered first many years ago. I'd gone to Penang. I forget when. In fact, it was
Hmm.
many moons ago. And that's when I had some great cake. And then this experience was repeated in Kuala Lumpur
Yes.
again. I've had experiences like that. Of course, in Singapore, in Hong Kong, when you're talking about Asia, in Bangladesh, I've eaten some great food. So actually, there's not a single place in this world where there isn't good food. We have to just look out for that, and look out for the opportunity. And
Correct.
actually, most recently, I was in New York a couple of less than 2 months back,
Okay.
and I went to European restaurant which has now become very popular. It's owned by an Indian, and you may be knowing the gentleman Rohit Khattar. He
Okay.
uh, he is the man behind Indian Accent, which is been rated as India's number one restaurant by the
Oh.
Restaurant Magazine. Yes,
Okay.
so now at Koloman, which is KOLOMAN, in New York, in the north, what they call the Nomad district, the North Madison district of New York. I had such excellent European food in the most, in the most Viennese coffee house style. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
was French food without the stuffiness, and French food without the small portions,
Yes.
so it was more food as you would eat in a coffee house, food
Yes.
meant to be shared. And so it was very much like it's the Indian way of eating, that you get food in platters which you share, and you have different, you order different dishes, and you have, you eat and talk, and you have your drinks,
Yeah.
you have your wine, and you enjoy an evening, lots of
Correct.
chatter, lots of atmosphere. So
Yes.
so there have been experiences like that too, but my take on it is that there's not a, if you look out for good food, you'll always find,
Yeah.
good food
Yeah.
will come to you, and there'll be some, either it'll be at someone's home or someone's, it can be in the most humble places. I mean, there is no, for instance, I've had, in Taiwan, for instance, I've had great dim sum in, of course, very
Oh.
fine, yeah, fine places, and
Okay.
at places which are absolutely off the street, so
Ah.
now this, it's just a question of discovering, and the best way to discover the
Yes.
food of a city or of a place is to just walk around with the locals,
I think you and I
the,
have lucky jobs, Swarish.
no, but my take on it is that one should either move out with chefs after duty hours,
Yes.
or you find good people among the residents of a city, your
Yes.
friends or people and you
Correct.
sort of go out and look out for the good places. So that's.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there are places like that everywhere, and I'm sure you must be having your own, list of experiences. So
Correct.
I guess if like a lot of people, talk when they talk about Italy, they talk about the fine cuisine and
Hmm.
all that. My best experience in Italy has been eating at a family-owned winery in Sicily, where for the first time I saw what Sicilian hospitality was all about. The
Yes.
entire family, from a child who was 9 years old to the grandmother who was 89 years old, they were all busy putting together a fantastic meal for us. I never
Yes.
had such fantastic eggplant preparations, zucchini, peppers. I mean,
Wow.
I could have turned, in Italy, I turned vegetarian. There's so
Yes.
much of good vegetables, vegetarian preparations to eat there, I mean, they have the hams and all that, but the vegetables are a delight
Yes,
for the
yeah,
senses. So I mean,
correct.
there are experiences and experiences.
Yes. So coming back to India, Saurish, because
Yeah,
I think 2023 kind of looks very promising in that sense, and that's why post
for me,
COVID,
every year, for me, every year looks promising, but
that's
yeah,
right.
2023 is promising because it is 100% post COVID. Hopefully, it will remain
Yeah,
that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So, being a part, of the industry yourself, do you think the Indian F&B industry is ready to take on the challenges of 2023?
Yeah, I mean, that of course there's the positive side of post-COVID world is that travel has really increased. So
Yes.
all our hotels and restaurants are full all the time. Yeah,
Hmm.
because people are traveling, especially now that it's November and we'll be soon into December.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people have started coming into. It's a good time of the year to be in India. So the weather is very good. So a lot of
Yeah.
people are coming into India. The industry is very busy. After 2 lean years, they've had a very
Hmm.
busy time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that is there. But what has happened is that a lot of people have also left the industry. So in the industry has been bled of good talent. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and so balancing all that, the people as of now, I don't think there's been some great F&B concept, new F&B concept that has come on board, but the existing good F&B concepts are all there. They're all
Correct.
doing well, and they're doing better than ever. If you were to ask me to name a new restaurant which has shaken everyone out of their boots, I can't name one. But
Sure.
the old ones are doing very well. The ones
Yeah.
which are established and which
I
have
think they
earned a
kind of
reputation.
built in some sort of resilience, no? Because
Yeah,
the old
right.
guys, right? And
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, look, last 2 years, nothing new really opened, or nothing new happened.
that's
It
right.
was more of a consolidation phase. So I guess 2023 may see some absolutely new restaurants open up and new concepts being introduced to the international dining public in India or the Indian dining public within their own country. So that is my take on the whole thing.
Ah, that sounds very
But
promising
but
because
one, let me quickly add one thing. The old the trend we saw, when you last were in Delhi, the
yes,
trend for regional cuisine to get regional Indian cuisines to get the place in the sun. That trend is very much alive and it's growing. So
I agree with you on that, Saurish, because in Malaysia too, I saw the same thing. All the regional cuisine, the home food where you don't have, measurements. It's just measurements of fingers, that kind of thing. Made like it was like some sort of huge revenge comeback, as I call it. And just got into completely, almost into mainstream.
you're right,
Uh,
right.
yeah, and I think that is a great platform too because which also kind of leads me to ask you about the Tasting India Symposium that will happen in 2023. Will it also showcase all these sudden home heroes,
Right.
into some sort of format in the
In
Tasting India
fact,
Symposium?
we like I was recently in Delhi. I mean, I was quite amazed to find, there's a festival which is very common, very popular. Dashera. Now,
Right?
within the Dashera, there's a subset, among in the Bengali community in India. The Bengalis live in Eastern India, and among them, Durga Puja is very big. And the
Yes.
Durga Puja is a community puja. I mean, it's a celebration where the entire community participates. And so at one such public celebration, they had competition of home chefs, and it
Oh,
was amazing. So obviously there is a lot of interest in home chefs, and
yes.
this is something we will definitely showcase in our next edition of Tasting India Symposium as and when it happens, hopefully
Correct.
sooner than later. And we will discuss the trends in home cooking and how home cooking has come out to the world. So that
Yes.
is, I think a great thought. I would like to park here. I'm sure there must be great home chefs in Malaysia who are doing some fabulous work. We love to know more about them too, sort of, and also from the ASEAN region,
Yes.
at the
Yes.
start. Yeah,
In fact, ever since I started the Stiletto Foodie platform last
right,
year,
right,
most of my guests, Sorish, have all been home chefs.
right,
The lesser spoken for heroes, as I call,
right,
as I
right,
say it, right? Because mainstream has the media power behind them.
right,
The local home chefs need support,
right,
and
right,
and they are the ones who have been, that I've been putting showcasing on my
right,
platform because
right.
I've tasted their cuisine and they're awesome, like really awesome, you know,
Right,
with
right.
the
Entirely
yeah.
agree with you on that. Yes, yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so like how we were saying, correct, during our conversation, that
right,
2023 is very strategic India
right,
Malaysia, you know,
right,
uh, to kind of co create together.
right,
I would like to know from you if
right.
you have any suggestions of how, we can do this entire India Malaysia
In
bridging,
fact, yeah, you could, take the lead. There's a old connection between India and Malaysia. I mean, I don't
Yes.
have to explain that to. I mean, people in Malaysia know it as well as people in India. There's a and in Malaysia, Indian culture lives and grows
It
as much as
thrives. It
as any
thrives.
other culture. The Chinese or the Malay or now.
Yes.
Malaysia is a great, what I call a melting pot society, which
Hmm.
has always welcomed people, and that it respects each religion and each taste bud, everything. So
Yes.
I think maybe there is a time, there is an opportunity. We could carry this forward. That we have a meeting between Malaysian uh, F&B community and the Indian F&B community, just to exchange views with each other. There are two kinds of views. They can one is talk about the food culture of the two countries and what is shared between the two countries, and the food culture ingredients of the food culture that went from India to Malaysia but now are lost in India. It
Correct.
happens when something travels to another country, it stays
Yeah.
there as it was, say, 100 years ago, whereas
Yes.
within India it has become a distant memory. Yeah.
Yes.
Or it could be I mean, we could discover a lot of like F&B communities of the two countries may also find ways of interacting with each other professionally. Okay. It can be a professional platform as well as a foodie platform.
Yes.
And I think if we work on it and set ourselves a deadline, say of December 2023, we can create a bridge, a partnership, an Indo-Malaysian partnership, an Indo-Malaysian dialogue, which will happen every year, in alternate countries, once in
Correct.
India, once in Malaysia.
Correct.
We can do it. Definitely, we need to, and maybe it can then be extended to other ASEAN countries joining in. Um, Interestingly, India takes over as the G20 convener, the lead country of G20 this year.
You're right.
After Indonesia, has the summit, and then the Indonesian president steps down as the G20 chairperson. Then the Indian Prime Minister takes over from the Indonesian president. So the next year is also important for that reason. And we
Yes.
know G20 has a very strong ASEAN presence. So
Correct.
maybe it's also and again, if we talk about Indonesia, Singapore, any other country in the Southeast Asian region, India and these countries have had historical ties. and we must explore and reaffirm those ties.
True. Yeah, and India seems to be the flavor of the moment right now. We
Yeah,
have an Indian origin, UK PM, correct? In that too, Priyanka Chopra also has opened up her
yeah,
own, Indian restaurant in New
right,
York.
right,
Yeah, both of them, she, Deepika Padukone, have become global brand ambassadors of such international brands, right? So I keep
right,
telling my embassy colleagues also
yeah,
here, saying, yeah, India rules.
right. That's true.
Yeah, awesome. This is really awesome.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you made time for us, correct? I have
Thank you so much.
also Alan. Alan, I'm going to patch Alan in so the two of you can meet and say hello to each other.
Sure.
Alan is what I call a matcha evangelist in Kuala Lumpur,
Wow.
because he's so passionate about it. Also, this entire, bringing back, so to say, how I would call it, the entire traditional, tea ceremony, and completely right.
Wow.
He comes completely dressed,
Right.
and I've seen him performing. It's like a little kind of theater that he creates, and
Wow.
everyone just looks at him, completely spellbound to see what's going to happen next. So let me just get Alan online, and very quickly, we can all introduce and say hi to each other. Alan.
Hello.
Hi.
Very good evening, Mr. Sourish.
Hello, Alan. So nice to see you. And
It was
I hope
it was a pleasure.
uh, you know, the viewers of Ethel show get to eat and drink a lot of matcha,
Yes,
virtually, and
yes,
learn
yes,
how to
yes,
serve it right. And that's an art in itself. So,
yes. It is an honor that, of course, you invited me to the show, and of course, it is an honor to meet you, Mr. Sourish. And your sharing was very, very exciting. And I heard, yeah, India rules, yeah. So that was a very good. That's a very good one. In fact, our farm work.
India rules its friends in Malaysia and other places.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that. Now, talking about India, even our tea farm has worked very closely with one of the best tea farm in India, which is they call it the Makai Bairi Tea Estate
It's very
in
well
India.
known. Yeah,
Yes,
Wow.
Mr. Sarat Kumar Banerjee, or also known as Raja, is one of
right.
the very famous Indian tea farmer, and he has won lots of awards internationally. And we are
Right.
also very proud. Our farm is actually working with them, working with the
Okay.
Indian side to produce some of the most delicious Japanese tea mixed with Darjeeling tea as well.
Wow.
Oh,
Makai
wow.
Bali is
Yes,
really
yes,
the top of Darjeeling tea, the Darjeeling tea
yes,
pyramid.
correct. One of
So
the
we're very,
one
very
of the
fortunate
best
to.
Darjeeling tea I have ever tried. Yes.
Right.
Okay,
Fantastic.
it's an honor to be in the show today. Thank you. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you
once
so
again
much.
to meet you, and to everybody who has just joined in with us. Thank you for being here. It is a pleasure for me to be here tonight, and I hope I can share a little bit about Japanese tea with everyone viewing today. Right?
Correct.
So,
Okay.
what would you guys like to know today?
Right, Alan. So like how I was telling, I mentioned it to Sorish as well, that you've been quite the evangelist, at least as far as I know of you, with this entire concept of matcha, as a beverage. How did your relationship begin with matcha? Is what I would like to, my audiences to
Um,
know.
that is a very good question. Everybody asks me that now. Do you know there's a story when you hate that person so much, you end up actually marrying her? You know, so that kind of scenario. So I
Right.
never liked, yeah, I never liked matcha before I began the business, and
Oh,
until one, yeah, I never liked it. I hated it so much
okay.
because I was influenced with the bad quality tea. So and I thought that matcha it tastes exactly like what I have experienced. So
Okay.
one day when I was doing an event in Malaysia, where one of my sensei, Mr. Toshiya Nakabo, came, and he offered me one small cup of matcha, and I was quite hesitant to receive that drink, the tea from him, because
Right.
in my mind, I used to get this very bad taste, bad experience, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So I took the leap of faith and I tried one last time, and I was telling myself, this is it, this is the last time, because when somebody offered you something, whether you like it or not, you still need to take it, you see. So give and take. So, and my sensei was quite hard selling, because he was standing there and waiting for me to take the sip. I was thinking to walk away and just throw it into the trash can and stuff, but he was very persistent. He
Right.
just wants to know what is my feedback of the matcha that he's promoting. So
Okay.
on the first tip, and I fell in love with it, because it tastes totally different than what we ever tasted in the market. And 6 years later, here I am. Look, this is the cafe that we are working on here. We are actually
Yes.
live. What my
Wow.
teams are working, and taking break. This is the cafe. This is how it look like.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good
And
looking one. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm here. I'm all matcha, and I travel to Japan with my team. We study everything that we need to know about the Japanese tea.
Correct.
We don't want to be just a person who just sells the product and say that the product is good just because we're selling it. And we want to really learn, like a professional chef, you need to really go through the hardship to learn A to Z, in and out, everything before you can create a good plate or a good dish, or perhaps a good cup of tea as well.
Yes.
So that's how it all begins. Yeah.
So your story sounds like a Bollywood movie, Hate to Love,
Yeah,
right,
well, we
Sourish?
can do that though. Yeah. We can actually think of that, we can always think of that. Yeah. We can make
Yeah,
that, Yeah.
completely. So,
Yeah, that's beautiful, yeah.
which brings me to my next question.
Mm,
I did not know this story. See, and that's why I love all the little kind of hidden truths that come out. On my Stiletto Foodie show. So you are very
yeah,
passionate, from what I've seen, bringing
yeah.
back, educating people on the traditions
Correct.
of tea drinking because of your
Correct.
elaborate ceremonies that you do, and I love it. It's
Hmm.
so it's
Thank
so
you.
regal, very regal,
Mm,
very
mm,
royal. Quite an eye opener for me as well.
mm,
How did this little kind of connection happen, Alan? Because it is a lot of work. I mean, it's not easy
hmm
from what I see you doing it. Correct?
hmm Okay. You see, when I mentioned before that I hated this tea matcha from the beginning, and it changes my mind. So before I start this business, I was thinking to myself that, look, if I hated this tea from the beginning and I can fall in love with it, and I fell in
Yes.
love with it, all right, I believe that there are so many other people out there who are having the same experience that I'm going through. So because of that, I thought of, let's bring this tea into Malaysia. That is priority number one. However, I do meet up some challenges where how I can actually introduce the Japanese tea the right way to the modern society. You see, we
Correct.
live in the world with social media. We live in the world with lots of marketing tools, campaign, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Everybody claims that their products are premiums. Everybody claims that the product is the best of quality. No, it's not wrong. But in the Japanese training that we go through, the Japanese always they are always very honest, and they are always very straightforward. If they say that the quality is like this, means it is like this. Rest assured. Yeah, the Japanese don't lie when it comes to business. So we were well trained, and our sensei always tell us that be generous and always be transparent whenever you push the products to your customers and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So the challenges we faces most are how to educate the consumer and to allow them to know what is a good quality, the real quality, the genuine good quality, and what is marketing good quality. You see, so you are still paying the same price, but a lot of the customers and consumers did not know that when they pay for something, they thought, oh, that is premium but they did not know that it's because of marketing.
Correct.
So if you walk to a shopping center and that sell lots of tea, yeah, whatever brand, regardless whatever brand, even for those 3-in-1, the packaging will always written there premium 3-in-1. But when you turn behind the ingredients, you will see that the premium, they have all kinds of scientific, ingredients in there that, substance and so on. And how can you call this as premium when you're actually using chemicals and other ingredients which is not natural in there?
Yes.
So that is one of the biggest challenges that we are facing right now,
Okay.
and to educate the customers and consumers to drink the right genuine tea, and not just because of marketing. That's the biggest challenge that we're facing actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So The
I
only way that
remember.
I can, mm,
Sorry, I remember in India too, Sorish, this entire reading the label. At this
mm,
tasting India symposium too, that you were trying to
mhm.
kind of push it through, is to read the label. No matter what you buy, is to
Right.
turn the
Agree,
product packaging
agree,
back and the label, so you understand
agree,
what really you're buying. And
agree.
I think
Yeah.
yes, and I think to gentlemen like you, who are so
Mm,
learned and know, is to also
mm.
create this form of education, because you're empowering your customer or your guest or your client that way, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yes. This is
So I think the best marketing that we have right now is to bring Japan into Malaysia because that's how I fell in love with it.
yes.
So we want to bring how 1,200 years old of tradition into Malaysia, the
Okay.
right way of making the tea, the right way of scooping the powder. All this has already is going to be obsolete in the maybe next 5, 10, 20 years because the younger generation of Japanese, they are not going for all these teas anymore. Because
Right.
if you bring to Japan, every 100 meters there's a vending machine and their life are so so fast that they don't have time to make a good cup of tea for themselves.
Yes.
So this is quite concerning among the Japanese tea farmers and the tea unions as well. So that is why anything outside of Japan, the Japanese are actually very eager to actually help out or to push their products outside of Japan. And thank God, the rest of the world are still enjoying and experiencing the culture of this Japanese green tea. So that is
Yes.
something that that is something that we should be proud of, and that we are proud of. That a lot of people are very influenced into Japanese tea these days.
Yeah, that's fantastic,
Mm,
Alan. I did not know that, and really
mm,
thank you, for
yeah.
also enlightening me as well, because
Hmm, hmm.
like how we say in India, and Sorish will agree, "Gar ki murgi dal barabar," we say, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
appreciate what you have at home till it goes out
Yeah.
and becomes a huge fashion or a trend in somebody else's
Mhm.
country, different country.
Oh, that is beautiful. Very nice. Yeah.
I think it's the
Okay.
same with your
Mm,
story as well. So,
yeah.
I'm going to ask you a very, very straight and blunt question, because
Mm,
we do that as journalists. Japanese tea
mhm,
versus
mm.
Indian tea.
Okay.
What would you say
Very,
is the highlight here?
very tough question. Right? Just in case my teacher is not watching. Okay. To be frank, every single tea out there in the market, as long as it's genuine, it is delicious by its own profile, by its own body. You cannot compare. And so if you really want to know what are the big difference between the Indian tea and Japanese tea, most of the Indian teas are on the roasted side. Mostly a dark tea, yeah, black teas, and so on and so forth, Darjeeling.
Yes. Yes.
And mostly are on the roasted side where the caffeine level are much lower, where Japanese mostly focus on steaming the tea. So most of
Oh,
the time they are on the sweeter side and more to the nutrients are much higher compared with the Indian tea because one is still natural and one is roasted. Whenever you
right.
roast something, your nutrients drop. Yeah. However,
Yes.
if in terms of profiling of the characteristic of tea, Darjeeling has its Darjeeling, or perhaps the Indian tea has its own taste and flavor that cannot be compared, and Japanese tea cannot be compared as well. Now, if we take two different types of roasted tea from India and Japanese roasted tea, I can say that both are equally delicious as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and also if you do take note, if you were to eat an Indian food today, yeah, if I going for a tandoori, a chicken
Yes.
tandoori today, yeah, all right. If I
Right.
were to drink a Japanese green tea, all right, it does not match at all. It has to go back with Indian tea. Yeah.
Oh,
So if you eat a Japanese sushi and if you drink a Darjeeling tea, you will feel a little bit awkward as well because the tea does not match the food in India in Japan as well. So it's very unique. You have to choose the right tea for the right food for the right pairing, and then you will experience it even better.
wow. Wow. Yeah. Sorish, you so have to come to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look
Yeah.
look at
Please
the,
do.
the great bridges that you're building, and Alan, you're doing amazing. I mean, it's so enlightening to listen to him. And
Yes.
Yes. I
This
hope
whole
so. Yeah.
difference between Japanese and Indian tea, it just set me
Mm-hmm,
thinking. I mean, talking about
Yeah.
the dialogue, the bridge that we were
mm-hmm.
talking about. These are the kinds of elements we should have in that dialogue bridge. Sort of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
And and
Because,
and for your information, Mr. Sorish, chai tea is one of the Indian most favorite tea. Agree?
Right,
Yeah, the
right,
spice in the tea and everything is
right.
beautifully, yeah,
What we call
calibrated and
masala
beautifully
chai.
crafted.
masala
What we
Masala
call
chai.
chai, yeah.
masala chai.
Now,
Or in
in
Dubai, they'll call it kadak chai. Sort of.
Correct
color
chai.
chai, yeah. Now in Malaysia, for the
Right,
very first time, my
right.
team has created a chai latte by using Japanese tea instead of Indian tea.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So yes, so we use the roasted Japanese
Right,
tea. We roast the tea. We use it. We
right,
add some oatmeal or milk in there, and then we put
right.
some chai masala chai herbs in it.
Right.
It goes very well, and a totally different experience drinking chai.
But
Wow.
You must come.
does
Yeah.
Japanese tea and milk, do they get along? I mean, like, I mean, we are so used to having Indian tea with milk, but
Yes,
does
correct.
Japanese matcha go with milk?
Well, it does go well together,
Yeah,
depending on where you're looking at. If you're a person who wants to have something latte, it's actually met pretty well.
right,
If you're a person who wants to drink because of health benefit, I
right,
rather not to put any milk or any sugar into your tea because
Okay.
that will actually destroy the nutrients of the tea.
right,
Tea is
right,
supposed to be healthy. So if you put sugar in or put milk in, you actually because teas are very sensitive. You put any other ingredients in, right? You actually turn the nutrients. You may not get the nutrients that you deserve to get whenever you drink a tea. Yeah, it
Wow.
lowers down your nutrients. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
right,
but it does match. It does match. The trend goes very crazy with matcha latte, especially
Correct.
hojicha latte, especially. We
right.
should try, Darjeeling tea with milk or with some boba in there. Who knows? The Indian market might like it since Indian
Right,
desserts are pretty sweet as well. I think they
right.
love it too. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, correct. Wow.
Sure.
We should
Mm.
have Alan on somewhere in India too, because look at the
Abs-
information. Look at the
I would
information.
love to visit. I will one day, one fine day. Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
be awesome. So Alan, do you look at this entire matcha, revolution, if I could call that a word?
Hmm.
Is it a trend, or is it here to stay?
Um, Matcha has been existed in the world about approximately 1,200 years ago during the Sengoku era, and matcha was actually created in China first during the Song Dynasty, and because the Chinese medicine or the doctors they use it in medicine many years, centuries ago. So when the Japanese went over to China to learn Buddhism, the monks went over to learn Buddhism. They bring tea back to Japan. So
Yes.
during those days, only the monks or the temples or perhaps the rich daimyo or we call it the warlord have access to tea. Now, few hundred years ago, during the Sengoku era, where the Japanese are fighting among each other to make the Japan, united into one. So this guy with the name of Senno Rikyu, he saw that every day, 120 old years of people killing, the Japanese are killing their own people just because of land, because of power and greed. So he created, in short, he created something called the tea ceremony, where you need this small room outside, away in the garden area, away from the city, and that's where the Zen garden was. He created a room, and then he created a small door to enter to the tea room. So wherever everybody who wants to enter the room to drink tea together,
Correct.
you are required to lower down yourself to crawl in. Because during those days, the warlord do not bow to a servant. The warlord do not bow to a normal people. Only the people bow to the warlord and so on and so forth. So in order to enter the tea room, you need to humble yourself, lower down yourself to enter the room where everyone seated in the room are all equal. There are no status, everyone is equal. So that was
Wow.
the concept. Yeah, that was the concept. So that took place 1,200 years ago, and until today, people are still drinking this tea, I believe that Japanese tea will stay here for a very long time, and it's not just a trend thingy. So there could be trend, the spring off, people use this tea to design some modern drinks, some pop-up culture drinks, for the younger generations and for the trend. However,
Yes.
the essence, which is the original ingredient, I believe it will stay in our lives, I think, forever. Yeah, I believe that it will stay forever. It's not just a trend.
Yeah. Wow. That
Mm,
sounds very encouraging. Very encouraging to kind
I
of,
hope so.
yes.
Yeah.
So you have some matcha, I think, kind of thing to show us today. Some
Um,
products that you had.
okay, to those who just joined us, a lot of people may not know what is. I'll just show you guys the basic.
Sure.
Now this is bamboo spoon. Yeah,
Yes.
this is bamboo spoon. This is for you to scoop the matcha. One of the reason we are still using the bamboo spoon because we do not want to contaminate the tea. Anything if you use a stainless steel to pick up your tea and eventually you're actually contaminating it, you oxidize faster. And that's why all your tea leaf that you purchase, regardless of tea leaf or powder, try not to put into a metal canister because it will oxidize your tea much faster and you will destroy your flavors and so on and so forth. So a few thousand years ago, the Chinese created this to scoop matcha as medicine or tea as medicine. They don't use their hand; they use bamboo, nature to nature to touch, yeah, to scoop. So this is called chashaku in Japanese, yeah,
Okay.
right? So other than that, of course, we have something called chasen. This is chasen. Now, if I want to talk a story about chasen, I can talk the whole day non-stop. Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, chasen comes in many types of using many types of bamboo to produce. The best bamboo, the species is called ash bamboo. Now, in Japan, this bamboo is considered obsolete, endangered species. Now, most of the Japanese companies they will travel to Korea because they still have lots of similar bamboos over there. They import the bamboos, and all this is handmade. Yeah, this is handmade.
Okay. Okay.
How to determine a good chasen? First thing is the pricing. Okay, if you go for the cheap chasen, you can forget it. Go for the expensive one. If you think that you deserve one, please get a good one. Right now, how to determine a good chasen? A lot of people may not know. If you can see clearly, let me turn this chasen. Yeah,
Yes.
you see
Yes.
between all the widths here, between each other, yeah, between each other, all the widths are actually equally sized up. The spacings are all equal.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you have to know about that. Okay, number two, the size of the bamboo. Some of them are pretty big. Okay, the size of the bamboo should be this size. Okay, now in
Right.
order to hold the width, you hold it with three fingers like this. Yeah, hold it like this, three fingers. So when you whisk, you just use your wrist and whisk it. Okay.
Yes.
Perhaps the
Yes.
next show I'll join. I'll do more live demo. I'll share with most of the audience later on. Okay. So
Yes.
other than that, you're also required to have a matcha bowl to actually make your bowl of matcha. Not every bowl can be made, and different bowls also serve its different purposes. So if you are doing koi cha, they call it the thick tea, right? If they're doing the koi cha, then you need a rough surface on the inside so that you can actually mix the tea to make it into paste. So if
Okay.
you want to do a light tea, which is more water, then inside usually are more the smoother surface. Now, a lot of people did not know they do not how to take care of the chasen because when they whisk, they rub the bottom of it. Right, that will actually damage your chasen easily. So what you do is, imagine this is the bottom of your bowl, and this is the liquid or the tea. When you whisk your tea, your chasen comes from the top. You should not touch the bottom. You should just
Oh,
whisk in between.
okay.
So this way you don't damage the chasen. All right. So other than that, in the tea ceremony, you're also required to use a natsume, they call it. This is only to be used during tea ceremony where you put the matcha powder inside, all right, and then you carry on and then you scoop it from using the chasaku, just once again, and you scoop it from here. Only tea ceremony you'll see the tea masters are using this. So other than that, one last tool, of course, you still need something called fukusa, which is a scarf for you to wipe the utensils. And most importantly, you need to have a good quality matcha as well,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
These are some of the tools important for you to make a good cup of matcha.
Wow. Sorish, this was like a little lesson for all of us. And I've seen Alan in action. He is
Thank
elaborate.
you.
And
Yeah.
then add to it the costumes, that he kind of completely
Right.
comes dressed up
Yes. Yes. Yes.
like a Japanese samurai, with some hidden
Yes.
sword somewhere that will just pop out.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Alan, thank you so much. Very knowledgeable.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
like you rightly said, we should do a
Mm.
complete tea show together.
Yes, correct. Yes,
Absolutely.
one
Yes.
fine day, just let me know. We'll do a complete, maybe an online tea ceremony
Yes.
where who knows, maybe we'll ship the tea to some of our guests. And then
Yeah.
during that particular live, I will guide you guys how to pour it, and then we will drink it together live. That would
Yes.
be
Together.
Wow.
awesome.
That is
Wow,
correct.
that's
That would be
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, I would love
Correct.
to do that. Yes.
Yes. On this
Yeah.
note, we have Dr. Benjamin Patrick also, who's joining us. Like I mentioned, he's my own Dr. Oz with his health tip
Hmm.
that he comes, brings to us every Fridays, because he's very heavily invested in the whole, holistic living concept where food is
Hmm.
medicine. He's also the MD of Tadasha Bioresonance, where the belief is that your own energy, body energy, is used to
Hmm.
heal the body. Simple,
Hmm.
without any kind of external intervention if not required. So let's bring Dr. Ben on the show. Dr. Ben, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Nice to
hello.
meet
How are
Hello.
you.
you?
I'm so
Meet
glad.
Alan and meet Storish.
Hi, nice pleasure to meet you. I enjoyed the sessions. I've learned a lot today. Very interesting. Look
Thank you,
Very
forward to
doctor. Thank you.
in person.
correct.
Yes,
Dr.
please.
Ben, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And since we have, two journalists here and one passionate matcha, soldier, we were discussing, you and me were discussing today a little offline on this entire concept of using, of educating the food and beverage industry against artificial food coloring. And I mentioned my own experience, with you, where I had the upset stomach. What do you have any kind of alternative that you can suggest to to our audiences who are with us?
Absolutely. I think out of 70% of my patients, even the pediatric patients that come in here, are generally suffering from some form of allergies as a result of emulsifiers or colorants. And we have a device that actually helps to, it's a non invasive device to actually retain information from the human body through a biofeedback. And that allows me to test every colorant without harming the patient. And so it's a Russian system. So that's been proven very helpful. But we've also seen a conglomerate of products that are coming in using false sugars with
Oh,
colorants, and this is extremely harmful. We see a lot of children actually suffer from it, a lot of adults as well, because these can cause cancer. It's carcinogenous because most colorants are derived from petrochemical components and like benzenes, and benzenes are absolutely carcinogenic. So I'd like to show a little slide here, a few things just to highlight to our viewers. And I hope this time it works because I've uploaded the slide. And let's
yes.
see. Yeah, am I able to share that right now? So I'll put it out there. But slide one, is everybody able to see? Not yet.
Okay.
Or should I just share my screen?
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, you could do that too.
Can you see this? Can everyone see
Uh,
this?
no, we can't.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, let me see what's happening here. Okay, entire screen, Windows. How about now? No?
No, not yet.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, I can present it. view slides, and still not able to. Are you able to connect it to your? Because I just sent it to your WhatsApp.
But that's okay, Dr. Ben, because we're running out on time as well.
Right.
So you could
No
probably kind of tell us,
Okay,
I
no
think by
problem. No
sometime it's
problem.
the best. Yeah.
So, okay, we found that most of these food dyes, the red, yellow, the green, and the blue as well. So, if you look at these colors and you find these colors on MLM chocolates or on certain candies, on cakes, just know that these have already been processed, and they've done tests on them, and they've proved to actually cause cancer, ADHD in kids, allergies, hypersensitives, hypersensitivity, asthmas, and hyperactivity as well. And the bright blues are normally used in powders, jellies, confectionaries, condiments. The royal blues or the darker blues, baked goods, cereals, snacks, foods, ice cream, confectionaries, and cherries. But the greens are quite terminal because the greens are the ones that actually cause thyroid problems. So
Oh,
when you see greens, be careful, be wary of it. And these are normally in drinks. A lot of colored drinks, puddings, ice cream, sherbets, ice creams, cherries, baked goods, and then we have the reds. So the reds are in canned cherries, confectionaries, also baked goods, dairy products. Then we have the oranges, the in gelatines and puddings, and the yellows. So the greens and the reds and the yellows are quite dominant. So you have to
okay.
stay away from them if possible. And it's a shame because I have a whole list here which I'm going to leave it with you. If anyone should ask for it,
Mm.
these is a comprehensive list for you to check with their color codes. So some of these color codes are located and registered on the canned food, and on the packaging behind sherbet ice creams and all that. They are responsible because they're two widely used agencies. One is the FDA and one's the European Union standard that
Mm.
requires all of them to be registered on the ingredient list. And so you can look for any of these codes, and that way you can safeguard your kids from actually potential harm and danger. So I'm
Mm.
just going to do this with you. I'm so sorry I'm not able to share the slides with you today, but I'll just leave this with you. But let's look at some of the alternatives, some of the foods that probably
Yes.
you
Yeah.
can include in your diet in to replicate or actually to as a dye, as a natural dye in foods. Okay, we can look at green spinach juice, parsley juice, liquid chlorophyll, green tea powder, matcha.
Mm.
And matcha is really good alternative for greens, and going green is always good. Then we've got orange pumpkin or carrot juice, paprika powders, can be good for the reds. And then we got pink raspberries, beetroots, pomegranates or cranberry juice, and we've got blueberries, of course, for the blues, and we've got purples for the purples. We can use red cabbage, grapes, purple carrot, purple sweet potato. For the yellows, you can use carrots and orange juice. Turmeric powder is often the best alternative because turmeric is really good as an ingredient. And
Right.
brown espresso, cocoa powder, or cinnamon, even cinnamon. And cinnamon can add more than just the color, but a good flavor and good spice because it's
Yes.
good digestion as well. Then you got black cocoa powder, activated charcoal powder. Some of them are using this. They're beginning to experiment with charcoal powder as well. But too much charcoal powder sometimes can cause a tummy upset as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
using natural food colors will produce more pastel color. So a lot of people go for macaroons, and macaroons is a good savory, a good dessert. But
Correct.
most macaroons nowadays they use a lot of artificial coloring. So
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
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 we want to avoid this altogether for good tummy. And what I do here is 6 hours once a week treatment to actually reverse this or to get the body to adapt to some of these coloring agents because they do extensive damage, not just to the neuro part or the focus part of the brain, but
Right.
also the emotional part. It causes an emotional interruption. So you get kids that are extremely agitated or irritated, and you're wondering why. Did they get up on the wrong bed or wrong side of the
Okay.
actually, it's not. It's actually colors that have got into the foods the day before, 2 days before, and so we do a detox here at Charasa, where I treat the patients here, and I'm
Yes.
telling you, I think this year alone, after the MCO, everybody just ran out and bought themselves some good dessert, and
Yeah.
they go to dessert cafes and they are eating and eating and eating and eating, and a lot of them are getting sick because
Yes.
3 years, none of this, and all of a sudden they've gone full on, head on to get all these sweet savories. And so there it is. I'm still going to leave the slides behind with you. If there's
Yes.
any questions whatsoever, I'm welcome to support and to answer any of that.
Which also kind of I must check mark my visit to you as well, to also kind
Yes.
of see what damage I have done after my cake binging.
Yes, all it takes is just 5 minutes of a test, a scan, a bioscan. It's a feedback loop, no
Yes.
killing involved, and you have everything. You don't have to go for the prick test
Yeah.
anymore. So technology is just grown and advanced to a stage where it's totally non-invasive right now. It's they can watch their cartoons and they can get their test done, and so with the
Correct.
adults as well.
Yes.
So there
So
you
what, so
go.
what is your health tip for the day, Dr. Ben?
My health tip for the day is this: uh, have more fiber in your diet. Create a fiber list. Create a fiber list to include more fiber products in your diet, because most foods right now are processed and most fibers have been extracted from the foods. No doubt fibers do not have a lot of nutritional value, they don't have calorific value, but fibers do a lot in helping us manage cholesterol, helping us manage some of these colorants, these toxins that get into our stomach. Fibers
Yes.
have to absorb this and push it out of our body. So if we are able to include some good fiber foods like legumes, beans, I mean beans, seeds,
Right.
berries into our regular diet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it would support our stomach and our digestive system to work better. So that's my
Correct.
health tip today. It's so easy to just create a list, include one or two fiber products, fiber ingredients into your food, whether it's your lunch. Spices are really good. Herbals are very good. Even a tinge of it is sufficient. You don't have to go full on and have one glass or one big cake
Yes.
of
Yes.
spices, but no, have a good curry. Have a good matcha tea. You
Yeah.
see, that's
Yeah.
enough to give you a good boost immune wise, and also help your
Yeah,
digestive system ease itself.
I
You know,
agree. Agree.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, agree.
Which means that I myself have to get into my kitchen cabinet and re-examine, what all that I have there. Because as I said, me and Swadish are food writers. So most times we're eating out, and you never know. As I said, right? Do I keep saying that chefs need to be responsible for our health as well? We don't know, right, Swadish, what really happens? Yes. So
happy to drop by anytime. You guys, whenever you guys are free, and I'll do a complimentary scan for you guys and
Thank
give you a
you.
readout.
Yeah. I'll
yes.
bring tea for you too.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Alan, you should connect with Dr. Ben because what he does with at Chadasha is awesome. You just sit down
Yes,
there, you
yes,
just
I
get to
will. I
know
will definitely.
everything, yeah, everything that's going on in
Definitely,
your
I
life.
will. Definitely, I'll see you soon.
Yes.
Yeah. And
On
I
this,
hope I can see Sorish as well. Perhaps I'll send you some
Absolutely.
tea as well with Sorish. Yeah.
Absolutely. We should
Yeah,
meet whenever
beautiful.
you're in India, or if God willing, I'm in Malaysia. We are going to get
Yeah.
together and
yeah,
drink a
You'll
lot of
be an
tea,
honor, sir. You'll
and
be an
then
honor.
go to Dr. Benjamin to have a checkup done.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're very
Yes.
welcome. Very welcome.
yeah. Gentlemen,
Good.
absolute pleasure today, to have you on my platform, to have you on the Stiletto Foodie show, to learn so much from each one of you. You only, my guests enrich my life. I always say that because I'm always learning something or the other every Friday, on the show. And when I meet, each one of you personally as well. So thank you for making the time, Sorish. I know that you have to rush back. To Alan,
I have to get back to work.
yeah, you have to get back to work. I know, I know. Yeah, it's the bane of our professions.
But thank you so much, and thank you, gentlemen, to meet you. Hopefully, one day we'll meet each other in person. Till then,
It's an honor.
God
It will be
bless.
an honor.
As
Yes.
you said,
Likewise.
namaste, you know.
Likewise.
Thank you
I
so
missed
much.
it.
Alan, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Because,
Thank you, everyone. Thank
just
you.
there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Dr.
We'll see you
Ben,
guys soon. Thank you.
Bye.
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Good night and have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Ethel.
Everyone. Likewise.
Thank you.
Live well.
All right. Yeah. Here's to matcha and here's to India.
Yes. Matcha in India. Yeah. Thank you. Good
All
night.
right. Good night. Good night. Good night. And on that beautiful note, we are, as I said, each of my guests completely enriches my life with the information that, I also kind of gather. And it all supports, in my own knowledge and writing and taking care of my health as well. To you, my audiences, for your dedication and support to be with me every Friday when I host the show on the Stiletto Foodie page, to be part of this beautiful culinary journey in terms of, sharing talent and storytelling. Thank you so much, for the honor that you do me by being here. And next Friday, I have a celebrity chef from Dubai who will join me on the show live. He's currently right now in India on a big, huge pop-up that he's doing. He was very excited when I reached out to him saying, yes, I want to be on your show. And that is the kind of confidence and, like I call it, my universe of well-wishers that my work helps me to create. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, each one of you. Be safe. Ensure that you eat healthy, and kisses to all of you. Good night.